Speak to me, Brenda.
Hello.
Ah, I can hear you now.
I can hear
So
you.
you've got your computer fixed.
No, it should be done today, but I'm just on my Kindle.
On your phone?
On my Kindle.
Kindle? All right. Well, it works.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, right. I don't know why all that was.
You're very muffled though, Bill.
Well, it shouldn't be. I've got this microphone on.
It's horrible.
It's horrible.
Yeah. Try that.
I don't know what to say.
Morning, David. Can't hear David now. Speak, David. No, you're not coming through either.
Go off again.
You can't hear David, can you, Brenda?
No, I can't. I can only hear you.
I can't hear David either.
Oh,
No, David, you're not linked in, David, to audio. Now he's muted. Now he's not muted. So what's wrong with your computer then, Brenda?
Well, it was started off not much. Yes, it did start off much. I think I downloaded something. I think that was the trouble because I only did it about a month or so ago, and just everything went. It came back to the original screen. All my photos weren't there. Anyway, I took it in and he put it right back to manufacturer's chart, but he's put most stuff back. I've lost a few things. I've lost things like things that I'd paid for and put on.
Oh, that's a new.
But anyway, at least I'll have got all my photographs and everything when I get it. I'm going to pick it up today, hopefully.
It's terrible, like chopping your arms off. Morning, Fred.
Good morning, everybody. I've got on at last.
First time. First time then, Fred.
I know, I have been trying.
Well, I know you're trying, but now you're with us. But the trouble is we can't hear David. No.
Any good at sign language, David?
Well, yeah, that's my photo, isn't it? Sign language. And David's not in his marina today. He's in his boring study, whatever.
Oh. He did it from his marina, has he? My goodness.
No, it's just the background. He puts the background of the marina.
Oh, okay.
Got it today.
We can
talk about it because he can't reply. We can say what we like. He can't reply.
You're in the library, are you? No?
Is that a real library, Mo, or a picture?
Oh, just a photo. No, David.
No?
Oh, there he is. I can see.
Try that again. Say that again. Speak, David.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Hey!
Yes.
You hear
That's
me?
good. Yes.
All right. Okay. I don't know why the first one doesn't work, but there you go. Okay. Well, good morning, everyone. Well, nice to see Fred's managed to get in at long last. It's taken several attempts. What's the sound quality like?
It's quite good at the moment.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, I'll keep taking the tablets then. Thank you.
I just want to try something myself.
Oh, that's clever. You've disappeared. You already got an arm.
No, you still don't seem to be hearing me.
You're still muffled, Bill. Still a bit muffled, Bill. I can hear you.
Very, very muffled. Morning, Diana.
Good morning, Mo. How are you?
Morning, Diana.
Good morning, David. Morning, Brenda.
And Diana. I can only see one person at a time on here.
Oh, go to gallery view. Go to gallery view if you can find that.
I don't think I've got that on here.
You will have. You'll have it there somewhere.
Right. Meeting settings. That's all. Raise hand or chat. That's all it says. Would it be meeting settings, do you think?
Could be. Try that. But it's normally on the main screen.
Oh, gallery view, that's it. Yeah, I've got, and it's got clicked on.
Well, click on it again.
Click off that one. Right, let's go back.
Brenda, your screen has frozen.
No.
I'm all right now.
Yeah, you're moving now. That's better. That's better. Good.
I still only see
What are you using then, Brenda? What are you using to broadcast then? Are you on the computer?
Kindle. Just using my Kindle.
Kindle. All right. Well, that's interesting. Right. Well, it's 4 minutes in. So, we'll hang on till 10 o'clock.
Is my sound any better now?
Yes, it is better.
Perfect.
It is better.
I put the microphone to same as system.
Ah, yeah. That
Yeah,
worked. Yeah, yes,
that seemed
much
to
better.
work.
Much better.
I don't know quite what same as system means.
Well, probably it aligns it to the Zoom system. I don't know.
Okay.
Well, look, we've got 6 people here. We can't allow any more, can we? The rule of 6. Rule of 6. That's it.
Well,
Sorry, anybody? It's too late.
There we are.
Diana, are you going to go landscape? Diana?
Hang on a minute. I've got trouble.
You're the wrong way round. You know that, don't you?
You look nice and really thin. Mind you're thin anyway, aren't you? So I'd like that way round.
Right. Better.
Oh,
Suddenly,
Diana's gone all horizontal now. The panoramic.
Better.
Where do all you guys put the microphone? Because I always seem to be right up front to it, you know. All you can see is my...
It depends on the microphone, I think.
you can see.
I've got my microphone.
I don't know if you can hear me. I don't know if you can hear me, but my screen keeps freezing.
Yeah,
I had this
You're frozen now, Mo.
I had this problem last week. In fact,
Yes, it's frozen now.
I can't see you at all, Mo.
Can anybody see me?
David's disappeared.
Yeah.
Oh, he's back
Yes.
Yeah. All good. Can you
Mo's
hear us, Caroline? Caroline?
Mo's disappeared.
Caroline, can you hear us?
Yes, I'm just installing myself at my. Yes, I can see you and hear you.
Right, very good. Okay. I don't know where Mo's gone. He was frozen, but now he's died altogether.
Ah,
Right, you're back, Mo.
Mo Coles is
oh,
host now.
Suzanne.
I complete my broadband is dreadful.
Hello,
Morning, Suzanne.
Morning, Rita.
Caroline,
Hello.
Hello.
I'm a bit worried. We've got more than 6. The rule of 6. We're on 8.
Oh dear.
But nobody dob us in. You mustn't dob us in.
I love all your books, Mo.
You love all my what?
All your books.
Oh,
Books.
these. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very
Well, I read
nice.
it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm trying to get through them. I'm about to there now.
Yeah.
I've got all these to read still. I actually wrote most. I actually wrote most of them myself. I'm not
Really?
boasting, but most of them.
Well done.
What you've got to do now, Mo, apparently, is arrange them in the colours of the rainbow, like all colour coded.
Sorry, you're all frozen again. You're frozen again.
Oh dear.
you're not frozen to me.
You're not frozen,
Oh,
Mo.
yeah.
No.
Yeah. Okay, I'll do that. No.
Yeah.
You're moving.
All the blue.
Yeah,
all the blue. All
colourblind.
the blue.
Now listen, you are all frozen. Listen. I'm
Sorry?
having problems with my broadband, and you're all frozen. So if I don't respond, you know that I've been cut off. Hopefully, you still keep going.
Okay.
Okay.
And But if you get cut off, we're all adrift, really, aren't we? So presumably we'll be able to come back and
Yeah.
log on again once you've re-established your broadband connection.
I think the session keeps going. I think the session keeps going. In fact, David, you're the only one who's animated. Everybody else on my screen is frozen. So it's broadband.
Well, we're not.
Everyone's
not
moving
frozen
on my
on our own.
screen. I can see everyone moving.
Well,
Yeah, Suzanne's swimming, and everyone else is moving. It's only, well, actually, Mo. Oh, yes, you are there. And you're moving. Say something, Mo.
Hello. Actually, it's all okay at the moment.
It's working. Yeah. Well, if you want to re-establish a connection, Mo, and see if you get a better link.
No, that's not the problem, David. It cuts out halfway through, partway through. So I could be connected now, and then in 5 cuts off.
Right. Your speech is cutting out
Yeah.
spasmodically, unfortunately, but there we are.
Well, I can hear you, so that's amazing.
Right. So I'm not sure that Iris is coming. I had a message from her, but I don't. She said she has problems with her computer, so that may.
And Perry will be joining us later.
Who is that?
Perry may be joining us later.
Right. Okay. Okay, I might phone Iris and just see what the situation is.
Mo, just to say, you can get a little gizmo. I bought a little gizmo, which was like a Wi-Fi extender thing, which is supposed to improve the signal. I don't know if it's anything to do with that, but
Really?
yeah, you can get a little gizmo. They're about £20. They're not terribly expensive.
Right.
I'll send you a link, and I'll send you a link to the one that I got, and you just plug it in, and it improves the signal, and you can actually walk around the house and check your signal. I'll send you a link. I'll send you a link.
Are you trying to tune in, or have you got computer problems still?
No, I'm sorry, I won't be joining you today. I thought that I said.
Well, you said you had computer problems, so I wondered if it was that, but that's okay.
No, I'm not. I'm all right. I'm all right. I have made it clear that I wasn't going to join you. So, thank you very much.
Oh, okay. All right, love. Okay. Are you well? Are you okay?
I'm reasonably well, yes. I just got bitten by this horsefly.
Oh.
And it has you.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh.
I'm okay.
All right.
Now, I'll ring you later about FaceTime.
Okay. Well,
Speak to you.
Cheers, love. Bye bye. Right.
Did you hear that?
Cheers. Bye.
Actually, if we all stop down, I mean, once we're on to the pictures, can we turn off our video?
Yes.
Yeah, it might help. It might help.
No, it won't make any difference. It's the broadband connection. I can see the little symbol on my iPad. It disappeared. In fact, it's getting weak now. It just drops out. It's to do with my broadband.
Oh, right.
But when David shares screen, his is the only one on is visible anyway, isn't it? I think.
Would it help to reboot the router, because we had problems with ours yesterday? John rebooted the router and then it cleared it.
Maybe, yeah. But I won't do it now because we're about to start.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Well, I don't know if you overheard that conversation, but Iris won't be joining us today for technical reasons.
Right.
Pertaining to a horsefly. You say Terry's going to be late. We haven't seen Mag. And is there somebody else missing? Oh, Brian. Yeah, Brian. Let me see if I can get through to him.
Diana,
Yes.
can I ring you later about FaceTime?
Oh, yeah, about
Yeah.
Facebook, you mean?
Yeah, Facebook. Yeah, yeah. Can I ring
Yeah.
you later? I need to speak to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm getting my computer back today, Diana, so I'll be able to look at those photographs.
Oh, good, good. I've got quite a few. Yeah. Good.
My
What was
fantastic
the
third photo is in the camera.
what was the problem with the computer?
Oh, quite another 100
Wait a minute,
quid.
everybody. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Hello, it's
Max
David
just
here,
phoned me.
Hang on.
It's
Sorry, Karen.
Brian.
Oh.
Thank
Has
you.
David got Mags?
Thank you very much.
Oh, I don't think.
Is David talking to Mags?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Brian, I'm trying to turn Brian.
She told me she hasn't got the link.
She hasn't got the link.
No,
She
number. The number you use, the code.
It's the same every time.
I know, I said that, but she hasn't got it anymore.
Oh.
Didn't you give it to her? Didn't you give it to her?
Well, how can I give
Good
it?
morning. Are you tuning in?
Well,
this
you've got it
morning?
written down.
I've got it. I've got it.
Oh, dear.
Right, okay, and this is the right.
Sorry, you've gone again.
Yeah, well, it's the same number it always was. If you've got a pencil, I'll read it to you. 927 200 5209. 927-200-5209. That's the one. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for reminding me. You're I felt rather overwhelmed on Monday night by the well, because my computer has been on the verge of extinction for months. Okay. All right. Well, listen. Tune in and join us because we're waiting for you. Okay, mate. Okay. Thank you.
David, who were you talking to?
That's Brian.
Oh, because Max hasn't got the number either. I don't know how to get it to her.
We give her the
Just
number.
But if you can phone her up, we can tell you the number.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it might be an idea to give everybody the number the night
Every week.
before or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Same number, isn't it?
Same number it's always been.
It's all the same every week.
Well, I know, but
Margaret,
you will
Max
learn
is
that
through.
To
Max
write
is
it in
there.
the diary.
Max is here.
Max
can't
is
get
there,
through to-
David.
Hello, Max. It's David. Are you tuning in with us this morning?
I didn't realise you used the same one every time.
Yeah, it's the same one, same number. Okay, so go on.
I've got a lovely picture of you on my tablet. I haven't joined the call.
Right. Okay. I look forward to seeing you on screen. Cheers, love. Bye.
Thank you, bye.
Oh, she's here now, isn't she?
Yeah.
Right. So the news is that Max is joining in. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
So Mags is coming in and Brian's going to attempt to come in, although I rather suspect.
Mag, where is Mag? Hi, Mag.
Hello.
Morning.
Oh.
Are you there?
I cracked it.
Oh, there you are, Mags. Good morning.
Well done.
Right, so we're just waiting for Brian, but I rather suspect, well, he's forgotten again, so there we go.
I think you should start, David. It's 10
Yeah,
past.
I'm going to do that. So
Yes.
I'm going to come across to try to share the screen, which probably looks a lot like that. And if you can see that, everyone, can you?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so this is the homepage, as I might say, with Bill's and Diana's, Fred, Caroline,
Yeah.
Matt, Mo's.
David, just click on the first one. That's
Yeah,
all we need.
I know. I'm just checking that I can do it. So you should be able to see me scrolling through all the pictures here.
Yeah.
David, can you sit back a bit from the screen? Otherwise, your voice is getting muffled.
I can move the microphone further away if that helps.
It was fine for me when you did that.
Me too.
Right, how is that now?
Fine.
Yeah.
Right, we'll kick off then. So good morning, everyone, and welcome back to our monthly meetings. I should have been at the dentist, and although I sent them an email asking for confirmation, and they confirmed that today's appointment would go ahead, they then sent me a message to say it won't. So I'm uninterested in dentists. Nonetheless, let's move on to Bill's number one. Remembering the topic is 3, and in this case, you can interpret 3 however you like. And Bill has got a rather interesting puzzle here of 3 pieces of wood with some joints cut into them, which
I
is
can't hear you, David. It's just me. I can't hear you. Is it just me? Very quiet.
It's a little muffled.
It's just very quiet. I just can't hear what you're
Right,
saying.
I'll move the microphone back because Mo did tell me that that's a good position. How is that now?
I can.
No?
I'm okay.
Mo,
Yeah, we can hear you.
you can hear me. Okay, so what Bill is giving us here is the way that these 3 pieces are assembled in stages 1, 2, and 3, and then when they're all together. So it's rather an intriguing photo. I very much like this interpretation. It's quite thinking outside the box and getting your joints sorted out. And I think that's an admirable interpretation of 3. It's quite unusual, and I think that's very good indeed. I'll move on to Pumpkin Bill, which again shows us rather more detailed version of these 3 pieces of wood. These are 3 different pieces of wood put together into a corner joint, and again intriguing for those of us that are into woodwork and like to see how this puzzle works. It's very interesting indeed. Well lit, good black background, so you can just see the business of the photograph, and quite clearly with writing in the photo, we are, as it were, obliged almost to read the writing. So I like that. So that's the second 3, and here they are again. Now I'm not too certain, and maybe Bill can tell me how that one differs from that one. Is it simply that the 3 single pieces of wood are rearranged as we're looking in this third image?
Yeah.
Shows the way that the pieces are approached. Bill?
Yeah, that's an exploded view. It had to be arranged rather carefully on a sort of black block to try and get all things in the right alignment in the first photograph, and then of course the second photograph is more or less the same as it was the previous one.
Yeah, so
it's just rearranged, and I thought it was a better looking way of showing how it all went together.
I understand that. Right, so for Bill, I'm going to call that wooden joint, and I think that's quite an intriguing photo and a very good interpretation of the topic 3. So I move on to Diana's number 1, the benches for reflection. And there's a play on words there, isn't there? There are 3 benches as required by the subject, and you might sit on those benches and just ponder or think or reflect upon things. And of course, there's a lovely reflection in the water. And you do know that I love reflections. Very, very well seen. A nearly square format, so it works very well. My only slight problem is the inclusion of the waste paper bin on the right hand side, which if you have the Photoshop and Jiggery Pokery manipulation software, you might have chosen to delete that. But not all photo manipulation Jiggery Pokery software will do that. But perhaps you sort of put a dog or a, I don't know, plant pot or something in over the top of that. Otherwise, a very good one. Yeah, Bill?
Well, I was going to say, couldn't you have just cropped it off?
Well, I rather suspect that if you crop that off, you'll lose some of the joy of the reflection. But yes, I wonder that myself, whether taking it off there.
No, I mean, just to remove the right-hand side.
That right-hand section, but then you're including this, whatever it is.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah,
I just thought.
I wondered about that, but I think I prefer the composition as it is, but then put something else in here over the bin, and there's no reason you shouldn't, so long as we can't spot it. And photo manipulation Jiggery Pokery software is very clever these days. I don't know if anyone's using Affinity. Anyone using Affinity?
I've got it, but I'm not using it.
Right. I will say that I've got it on the cheap, and I have it for use when I go away, and Adobe Photoshop is playing the art, and it gives me a vehicle and a method software with which to look at the photos that I've taken in this case of Dorset. Because Adobe Photoshop is a bit dodgy when I'm not in a Wi-Fi area. But good photo, I like it very much, and I particularly love the reflections. So as far as that one is concerned for Diana, I'm going to call that 3 benches. I'll move on to the next one. And this one made me chuckle. I really like this, you know, these jeans used as plant pots. I don't know where you found this, but it's really clever. I like it. And as a photograph, it certainly works. And when you look at the title, window dressing, that's a marvelous title. And the stroke, looks like Diana has picked up the blue color from the jeans and used that as the stroke, which is ideal. And you'll remember that we have said before, some judges don't like strokes, some do. From my point of view and from our purposes, it does separate the image from the background being black and the image itself being in color. I'm going to try to enlarge that a little bit just to fully enjoy it. And yeah, I do like that a lot. Where was it, Diana?
Have a guess. Australia.
Oh, was it? Oh, brilliant, brilliant. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, well, I've seen boots with pansies grey. I've seen old boots, you know, with pansies planted in them. That's a good one as well. Yeah, I like that very much indeed. So well done on that one. Moving on to the next one, and Diana's 3 vintage bottles, very well taken. You'll notice, ladies and gentlemen, that Diana has perfected the skill of picking up the colour from the image and using that as the stroke. And it does it perfectly. I really like that. She's also chosen, Diana has chosen to focus on the bottle nearest her. Now, you'll find on your cameras that if you use an automatic setting, they will often focus on the nearest object, and that's fine. Diana has further chosen the aperture such that the depth of field is no more than a centimetre or 2. Indeed, the very front of the nearest bottle is slightly soft. The bottles behind are both soft, and by soft I mean out of focus, and that's deliberate in that it gives us three-dimensionality in a photo, and I do like that. I like the colour, the olive green colour, and I don't know if you've tried, Diana, changing the white balance. Have you experimented with the white balance?
Oh, sorry. No, I didn't change the white balance. I think it had a circular polarizing filter on it to.
Okay. I just suggest as a 5-minute tryout, you might like to take that same photo and just try changing the white balance from daylight, change it up to incandescent light, or change it down to fluorescent light, and just notice the difference. It's quite a sanitary lesson. But I like that very much, and I'm just going to call that 3 bottles. So well done. Nearly square format again. Good black background. I take it's ambient light. There is light from the adjacent window, is it?
Yep. Yeah.
And it's very well done, very well conceived. Thank you for that one. Moving on then, the domino effect from Fred. Jolly good idea. And you see, not only has Fred captured the idea of 3, he's got 3 dominoes, but the dominoes are showing 3 spots each as well. So well done, Fred. Point of focus is the nearest domino, and you'll see, ladies and gentlemen, there's really a lesson in depth of field here. The second one is soft, and the third one is very soft. So a very good lesson in example of depth of field achieved by a suitable aperture. Suzanne, just to give the opportunity, what aperture would you suggest that Fred used in that case?
I realise I'm muted. A small aperture, a small number,
Yeah.
a big, to get the one in front in focus and the other 2 blurred.
Yeah, that's exactly the right answer. Well done. Small number, big hole, giving a average depth of field. So that's very well done indeed. I like that. So I'm just going to call that for Fred. Dominoes. We can't see a stroke line. I don't know if there is a stroke on that, Fred. On my screen, it's not quite showing up.
There is one, David. It's probably a black one. I never give it a thought, but the background you put the photographs on is black. So in future, I will remember that.
Okay. It's showing up as a very, very thin white line if I magnify it up.
It looks like a beveled edge, doesn't it? It's a beveled edge.
Yeah, well, anyway, just to mention the use of stroke lines. Compositionally, Fred has used the idea of these dominoes coming in from the bottom left-hand side. Actually, I think I'd have preferred a little more image on the left-hand side and cut off some of the right-hand side, just to move them over a little bit. But nonetheless, it's a good image of 3 dominoes, each of them showing 3 dots. So I'll move on to the next one. And this is very clever. You can see what Fred has done here is to have these 3, I don't know if they are silk flowers under a magnifying glass, and there are 3 of them. And then he's looking through that magnifying glass at the images of the flowers, leaving his fingers and the ring of the rim of the magnifying glass out of focus. Unfortunately, the other items on the bench are in focus, by which I mean the glass's case whatever that is in the top corner and whatever that is on the top right hand side there. These are all sharp and really, really truthfully, we could have done with those either removed entirely from the desktop or be very, very soft. Similarly, back here, these are in focus as well, surprisingly, while Fred's fingers and the ring of the magnifying glass are soft. Nonetheless, it's framed within a frame. We can definitely see a very thin, maybe 5 pixel stroke line in mid-grey, not bright white. That's very important. Not bright white, just mid-grey, and that does separate the background from the subject. So I like that a lot. And are they silk flowers then, Fred?
Yes, they are. It's a single flower. It's a prism. I actually bought it in Dixon's about 45 years ago in Oxford.
Oh, yeah, one of those. Gosh,
Yeah.
don't see many of those about these days.
Yeah.
Right, okay, I can see you now. There's a line.
Yeah.
And another line, and there's a one beard. Yes, that's very good. Yes, that used to be quite popular back in the 60s, buying these prismatic filters and getting this sort of effect. But that's one silk flower.
Yes.
And we get 3 views of it, 3 faceted prism. I see now in the title too. Yeah, very good. Thanks, Fred. Quite different, quite different. We'll move on. And now this young man is giving us the three wise photographers rather than the 3 wise monkeys. Hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. Yep, good, okay. Yeah, very good idea, very good interpretation. And you'll see, ladies and gentlemen, that taking 3 photos and then either cutting them out or merging them together, Fred has been able to get this effect. Do you want to tell us how you did it, Fred?
Yes, on a tripod.
Yeah.
Put it on self timer. Obviously, I set up the thing. It took a few takes to get the shutter speed and the aperture correct. Got a small flash. I got an Olympus camera. It came with a very small flash which pops in the hot shoe, and I just bounced it off the ceiling.
Yeah.
Essentially, took the 3 images, took them into what was it? Elements.
Yeah.
And used layers and just layered them together and painted them out.
Right. So there's 3. I think there's 3 things to pick up on that, ladies and gentlemen. Number 1, if you have a flash gun, don't have it flashing straight at the subject, but bounce it. If you have a sort of flash gun that has a rotating head, you can bounce it off the ceiling or off the walls, provided that your ceiling and your walls are white or light coloured. I did do a shoot for an engaged couple, and they wanted it taken in their lounge, and their lounge was painted canary yellow, and by the time I added the flash, they looked positively jaundiced. So just be careful about doing that. But that's a valuable technique. The other thing that Fred has mentioned is layers, and if there's one thing that will help you hugely with advanced photoshopping techniques is to get to grips with layers. So you can take 3 photos or 33 photos, put them into a stack, and just rub out the bits you don't want. I'll maybe send you a link to how to do layers. It's a very, very useful technique. So very good. I like the title, goes very well with the photo, and I'm going to call that 3 Togs. Togs are photography. I'll move on to the next one. And Caroline, now this is really, really well done. This is an advanced piece of photography. Let's look at the techniques that Caroline has used. She's picked up the gold color or found something very similar for the stroke that works oh so well. She's got 3 volumes, and that gives us the link to the tree, the subject. She's then put some specs and a magnifying glass, just the sort of thing I use on sharks when I'm sailing, because the details on the sharks are printed very, very small indeed. And then she has this rather advanced vignette, which really brings us in to the subject matter. I think that's a very advanced photo. So well done, Caroline. If anything, I think the vignette is a little bit heavy. I don't know what other people's opinions are, but if you can try to have some control over the vignette, nonetheless, it works very, very well indeed. I'm taking it that the shadow gives me a clue that the light is coming from the left-hand side window, the window on the left as you look at it. And indeed, if you look at the reflection in the magnifying glass, you'll see, if you can see where my pointer is going, let's just try and enlarge that a little bit. You can see here the reflection of the window on the left.
Who is it?
Here, in the magnifying glass. Can you see that or not? Can you see where my pointer is going?
Yes.
Yeah. And in fact, I think that might even be a reflection of Caroline herself, just hidden there on the edge of the table. I think that's a terrific photo, Caroline, so well done on that one. So I'm going to call that okay, well done on that one. Number 2 for Caroline, the Garden Trio. So she's now found 3 relevant books related to things in her garden, the field guide, the flowers and the birds. And just to make it different, she then added the 2 lovebirds. I think it's a glass paperweight, the colour of which is picked up with her colour sampling tool and put into the stroke. You notice a mid-grey, which is perfect, just enough.
David?
Yeah?
David?
Yep.
Sorry to interrupt, David. It's Diana here. Caroline's internet has gone down. So she was hoping you'd leave her till last, but I think you're halfway through, aren't you?
I'm on to her number 2. I'll come back.
I will try and do a recording to put out.
Oh, okay. Okay, Mo.
You are doing a recording, Mo?
Say that again, David.
You are doing a recording, are you?
I am recording.
Right, okay, so if we may, then we'll continue. I very much like the mid-grey stroke. I very much like the way that the books are at an angle. There are 3 of them, and ideally there should be 3 lovebirds, but there you go. You can't. I think it can't be choosy. So well done, Caroline. Very well thought of. Very well taken. Again, some light from oblique light from an adjacent window. So I like that very much indeed. And I'm going to call that 3 books. And I'll move on then to the next of Caroline, which are the World War II medals, which I think are Dutch medals. Can't quite read the middle one or something, I don't know. I think it's World War II survivors medal. And on the right, other medal, the one on the left is very familiar to those of us that have our grandparents.
Hello, sorry to interrupt, David. It's Caroline.
Yeah.
I've just come back. My Wi-Fi went. I've just got back, so I've missed all the discussion of my photos.
Right. Okay.
Would you mind doing them at the end for me?
Yeah. I'm recording it, so he'll send you the link on the recording.
All right, because I haven't heard any of it now. I've just got back.
Right. We just started this one, which is your 3 medals, which I'm assuming are Dutch medals, are they?
Yeah, they're my dad's medals.
Right.
And that's why I put that little half photo of my dad on the
Yeah,
side.
I like that a lot. That gave just an essence of
Providence. Providence is the word.
provenance. That's a good word, Mo. I'm
Yeah.
pleased you tuned in. Hey, that's good.
Yeah, that's from when he was fighting the Japs.
Oh, really? In Singapore?
No, in Indonesia.
In Indonesia, right? Okay. Well, again, look, Caroline has used two advanced skills here. She's picked up the colour of the medal ribbons and used it as the stroke. It's just about right. Any thicker would be too thick. It could be a little bit thinner, but it's the right colour. I like that. In addition, she's used a vignette, which on this occasion I think is not too much. Caroline, my comment on your previous one, which was
Oh, the bird. Oh, that Dickens, yes.
the vignette is a little bit heavy, and if you have any control over the vignette, then a little bit of a lighter vignette. But I'll come back.
Yeah.
To,
I was trying to make it look a bit old-fashioned because
Yeah,
of the Dickens books.
I think it works. I think it works very well indeed. But when you play the recording, you'll hear the full Monty.
Yeah.
I like this very much. You can imagine Caroline is scratching her head, thinking, "What the dickens can I do?" On the topic of three, and then she's decided, oh yes, three objects, three medals, vignetted and stroke line. Some people use a different phrase, but stroke is the phrase that they use on Adobe Photoshop, so I'll stick with that. You may have come across the phrase key line. Key line. I don't know if that's an Americanism or quite what, but anyway, very, very thought-provoking World War II medals, and well done for producing that. I like the way that you've included this, what more no cause of provenance. The gentleman here, your dad, your younger. Did you have a date on that photo, Caroline?
Yeah, that was in 1941, just before he got taken prisoner.
Right, 1941. My word.
In Indonesia, but he went. They took him to a Japanese prisoner of war camp.
Oh God. Oh,
Yeah.
right. So how old would he be now? He'd be 100 by now, I suppose.
Well, he actually survived the war.
Yeah.
But he would be over 100 now if he'd lived.
Yeah. Yeah. My dad.
But the reason I did this because I actually happened to come across an old photo album from both my parents just before the war and during the war as well. Right. So I found that photo and that gave me the idea of the medals.
Yeah, really good idea. I like that. So for Caroline's three, we have the Dickens, the three books, and the three medals. So that's in my notes. So moving on from Caroline, thanks for tuning in again. We've now got Mags, and a nice big photo, Mags. That's good. I don't have to enlarge it on my screen. And you'll see that Mags has given us, some people might call it a record shot. It's a very interesting shot of these three rock turrets, called, I guess, the Three Sisters, which is great. I'm not sure I wanted all this sky, and I would have suggested that you crop that off just to lose all of that sky. I know it's going to lose the peak of this mountain. And Max has included a stroke line, which is almost pure white. I think if you have any control over it, Max, try to get a mid-grey, so it's not brighter than the image, but it does sensibly separate the image from the background. In addition, you'll notice that the color temperature, ladies and gentlemen, is very, very blue. Now, I suggest to you that this is ultraviolet light, which your sensor is seeing. We used to be troubled by UV back in the days of film, more than we are now, because we can easily enough change the color temperature. So if you just try on your software. What sort of software are you using now?
It's in the Blue Mountains. The whole thing is blue, as it's
Yeah.
blue haze the whole time.
Yeah, it's the haze. There's three things you can do. One is just change the color temperature in your photo to make it look a little less ultraviolet. I'm quite happy with the blueness in itself, which I'll come back to in a minute. The other thing you can do, well, no, just try that. Just try changing the color temperature if you can on your software. I don't know if your software allows that. Now, in the old days, we used to use what was called a Ratten 1A filter, which, if you looked at it with the naked eye, was a very pale straw yellow, and that would overcome the ultraviolet and turn it much more normal. If you said to a type of Blue Mountain, perhaps that would have made us forgive the photo from being quite so blue. It does look like a UV effect. However, let me say further, if you have a slider on your software, what software are you using now?
I think that was Pixar. I'm really struggling with the software at the moment.
Okay.
Rubbish, basically.
Yeah, in some of the software, there's something called a dehaze. And if you use the dehaze slider, that would make a heck of a difference. But let's get back to the subject. Three sisters, we've got three things here, 1, 2, 3. And where's this Australia then? Is it, Max?
Sorry?
Is it Australia?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So well done on finding a subject that you could find from your back catalogue, as you might put it. The three sisters, you told us what they're called. I personally would chop it off there, and I'd definitely do it. However, let me say the colour here is quite sharp colours in lots of orange and grey and green and yellow. Here it's much more washed out in the hills beyond, and in the very far distance it's totally washed out. So this degradation of colour gives us a good impression of three-dimensionality, and you'll see this in the naked eye too. If you look at a scene such as this, you'll notice that things further away have less distinct colour. But that's a good attempt. And so for Caroline, for Mags, I'm going to call that 360. So good attempt. Try to grapple with some other software and try to change the color temperature. I don't know what Pixar does, but are you able to crop in Pixar? Could you have cropped that off?
Now you mentioned, yes, it would look much better if it was cropped.
Yeah, it's fairly boring slide. If you had some nice fluffy jobs up here, or a flock of birds or something, it might be a bit more interesting. But as it is, the top quarter of the image is just really the
I obviously wasn't thinking at the time.
No. But in post-processing, then you can change that. But let's move on then. So well done with that. To this. And when I looked at it, I thought, well, where's 3 in this? And then I read the title. 3 years old, why not? And there she is. And it's exactly what happens when you've got a 3-year-old granddaughter or niece or whatever, and you say, well, you know, just take the picture, and she sticks her tongue out at you. Oh, for heaven's sake. Well, yeah, made me chuckle. 3-year-old, that's what they do. And it's a lovely photo. So thank you for that. Once again, the stroke is a little bit bright. It's the brightest part of the image, and a little bit thick. I try to thin that down if I were you. But I don't know again if your software will do that. Maybe it would be worthwhile.
The white shirt.
Speak up.
I thought it matched the white shirt.
Yeah, but the white shirt is not the subject. The subject is the girl's face. Okay. But that's not all I want to say. The other thing is, I believe that you've used a flash on this. and there's a little catch light. You see the reflection in the eyes called a catch light. And really and truthfully, you want to try to get the catch light off to one side. So if you were listening to whoever it was earlier, I think it was Caroline, that used a flash. No, I think it's Fred used a flash and bounced it off the ceiling. Then that would have given a much softer light. I might be wrong. It might be there's a window behind you, which is reflecting in the little girl's eyes.
There is.
It's window light, is it? Okay. Now for window light is very, very good for portraiture, but you need it obliquely. That is to say, not the window behind you, but the window beside you, so that you could get half the girl's face illuminated and half the girl's face in slight shadow. Yeah. Further, she's plumb in the middle, and this is typical of things to try to improve upon. You would need the girl not in the middle, turning slightly around, maybe get her feet at 45 degrees, so she turns her head towards you. And then you've got space, you've got the ability to put the girl on the third here, with her head turned towards you, and the light from an adjacent window, not a window behind you. Window behind giving a very flat light. So Max has got homework. Is it your granddaughter, niece, next door neighbour? Who is it?
It's granddaughter, but I can't. They're in lockdown at the moment because they've just had a baby.
Oh, right. Okay.
There's
So
no
next time you do it, then window light is very, very good for portraiture, but have it adjacent, have it coming in from one side. Turn the girl so she's at 45 degrees from you, and then have her turn her head towards the camera. Whether she sticks her tongue out or not is either here or there. Was she being uncooperative when you took this?
No, she was being a monkey.
She's been a monkey. Okay. So I hope my comments will be of use to you. You could do it actually with Dave if Dave's up for a bit of portraiture and get him to sit adjacent to a window, so the window is not behind you, yeah, and then you'll get the illumination on one side of the face. Otherwise, it's a bit okay.
A bit like your face now, David.
Like my face now, you can see.
Yes, your face is brilliantly written on the right.
Yeah.
That's
a good example of light from the side.
You know, I can't see me on this computer.
Yeah.
But you can see that sort of thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Well, moving on, Silver Swans, and it just reminds me of a piece of music, actually. Silver Wings. I don't know if you know the song Silver Wings, but if you're not into something Western, you probably won't. Suzanne can probably sing it to us. Suzanne?
No, I don't know it.
You
Sorry.
don't know the words to Silver Wings?
Never heard of it.
Okay, I'll leave you to find out then, because it's a rather lovely song. Okay, 3 swans, great. 3 silver swans, even better. Unfortunately, in wildlife, and in this case, what would you say this is? Sculpture, but there you go. It doesn't take direction terribly well. This swan on the right-hand side is about to swim out of the frame. So really and truthfully, what we would need is rather more emulsion on the right-hand side. Now, I think I've explained to you what I mean about emulsion. More picture on the right-hand side so that the right-hand swan has somewhere to swim into. So ideally, I'd like that cropped off there, and that bit of water that you crop off from the left taken over and glued onto the right-hand side. Now, I have recommended to you Gavin Hoey in the past, and if you look at Gavin Hoey's videos, it's called Gav Train, all one word, Gavtrain, Gav Train, you'll find that he has some very useful training videos and he'll show you how to slice off that bit of water on the left and glue it on to the image on the right hand side. So Mags, if you want some homework, some more homework, I've already given you one set, have a look at Gav's train, and indeed I would recommend that to everyone to have a look at Gavin Hoey and his training video, gavtrain.com, and plow your way through those.
Spell that again, David.
Yes.
David, can you spell it again, please? I couldn't hear because you're still a bit muffled.
Gav
Yeah.
Train, Train.
That's fine. Oh.
Yeah.
Say Bain, Bain, Bravo Alpha India November.
No. Golf, Alpha, Victor, Tango, Romeo, Alpha, India, November.
Gav Train. Ah. That's something completely different.
Train as in training, right?
Gav Train.
Gav Train, yeah. It's Gavin Hoey you're looking for. I highly recommend him to you. He's now abandoned the fold of Canon users and joined Olympus users, and he's also not doing the club demonstrations anymore. Hasn't done them for the last 2 years as far as I recall. Not that this year's been a proper year, but there you go. And yeah, but his training is still on YouTube. Look up YouTube, all one word, and look at that. So getting back to this then, I like the shot, 3 silver swans. Unfortunately, the swan on the right-hand side wouldn't obey our rule of giving the moving object somewhere to go into. It's temptingly close.
Hey, Julie, is just here.
Sorry?
Break is just here. If it was here, I can't.
No, I don't know who. Is that you, Brenda?
I can't hear you, Dad. You're looking at me or everyone hearing me.
No, I can't hear whoever it is. It's very, very disturbed speech.
If everybody mutes themselves, it might make David clearer. If everybody tries just to mute themselves, it might make David clearer. Can we just try that?
Right, is that any better? I hope it is. Some people can hear me clearly, some people can't. Clearly, there's a problem. Mo, are you hearing me clearly? Mo, come in, Mo. Are you there?
He's muted himself, probably.
Yeah, okay. The other thing you might try is turn off the camera so that you just appear as a black square on the screen, and that frees up some bandwidth. Yeah, so if you turn off your cameras and you mute yourselves, then that may help with, I think it's Brenda that couldn't hear me clearly. But anyway, Gav Train would help, I think, if you want to learn a few techniques. There are lots and lots of techniques, and I like that. I'm going to put down some mag 3 swans. Oh, I was going to say, yes, it's dangerously close to not taking photos of other people's artwork unless you do something to it. Now, I rather suspect that I can accept this photo because I really like the reflections of the swans in the water, and I'm going to assume that you deliberately chose a moment or an angle to give me the benefit of those reflections. So well done on that, Mag. I'll move on from Mag's swans to Mo's matches. Mo, can you hear me?
You've been off for the last 5 minutes, but I've just come back in again. So yes, I can hear you.
We're seeing you now. Okay.
Yes.
Well, we've got here, and I want you to appreciate the title that Mo has given us, Match Life Cycle. and very, very thoughtful. Now you'll see what Mo has done here. He's given us the before, the during, and the after. Before you strike the match, during it's burned, and after it's burned. And I don't know if this is a composite, but if it is, it's very well done. There's a little bit of a telltale around the match head on the left side, which suggests to me that it's a composite. Are you saying yes, Mo?
I am, and I knew you would point that part out.
I knew you would. Right. In addition, Mo has picked up the colour, his colour picker of the match, or he's found a colour from the colour palette and used that for the stroke, which is a very slightly too bright, I would suggest, and it's definitely too thick. So I would suggest that a thinner one, I don't know how many pixels that is, I always say start at 5 pixels and see how it works out.
Yeah.
But it rather depends on the size of the image, because if you've got a great big image, 5 pixels is just right. If you've got a smaller image, 5 pixels might be too big. So you have to try it and see. I like the idea of the match life cycle, the before, the during, and the after. I would very much like the way that they are coming in from the bottom left and right corners. And we have what's called triangular composition. Now, it's not something I've mentioned to you before in all the years we've been doing this, but a triangular composition is quite powerful. And I think you can take this as an example from Mo, a very good example of how powerful a triangular composition is. So well done on that one, Mo. So for Mo, I'm just going to call that 3 matches. You'll notice there's something else happening here, ladies and gentlemen. There's a little bit of vignetting. It's almost imperceptible, yeah, and that's good. I do like that. It helps keep the attention into the image. You don't have to have the center of the vignette in the center of the frame. It can be off to one side, although on this case the center of the vignette is here, and I'm seeing this gradual vignette intensifying as it gets up to the top corners. It doesn't have to be centered on the middle of the image. It could be centered over here if it suits your image. In this case, it works fine. I move on from 3 matches onto 3 swans, and you'll have noticed that Mo has become an expert at composing pictures out of other pictures. And that's fine. We have here 2 company that breeds proud. So we have the, I'm finishing his title for him. And here in this case, the 2 swans are fairly either talking to each other or made to look like they're talking to each other. Mo will probably chip in if the same swan just reflected and then pasted on a background of a lake somewhere. And then a 3rd swan, which looks to me as if it's a lot sharper and a lot brighter, but I do love the reflection of that. I've said before and I'll say it again, I like reflections. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is probably 4 photos. 4, because we've got a background of a lake, we've got a swan, which is then reflected, so that's 2 more, making 3, and then another swan, which is sharper and brighter. Now, the problem with this composition is that swan number 4, or swan number 3, the little one here, is the brightest element of the photo, which really means that my attention is taken to him or her. Is it a boy? Is it a girl? I guess it's, I don't know how to tell. Anyway, look up Extremes. I know you're going to say that, Mo. Are you still with us, Mo? As your link faded out today. You'll notice that, ladies and gentlemen, Mo has picked up a mid-grey to the stroke line, which is, I think you'll see, very good indeed. It's not brighter than the brightest element of the photo. But the brightest element of the photo is this 4th photo, this 3rd swan. So very well thought of. and I'm going to call that three swans.
I didn't hear any of that, David.
Right. Well, I was complimenting you on the stroke, on the composition of one swan reflected, yes, and made to look as if it's the second swan, of the addition of a third swan and pasting those on the background of a lake. The fact, yes, that we seem to have a shallow here, almost a horizon here, which, yeah, looks a bit false, but it doesn't really matter. And the fact that this third swan is the brightest element. I think perhaps this original swan that we've put in here and the reflective isn't your best picture that we've ever seen. Nonetheless, it's very thoughtfully done. So well done. I'm calling that three swans, and I particularly like the stroke and the composition. Well done with your putting photos together. Is it 4 photos?
1, 2, 3, 4 photos, indeed.
Yeah, yeah. So well done on that. These composites are very, very interesting. Well done on that. Moving on to mode number 3. You know, this is the most intriguing. We've got elbows and hands, wrists and fingers, and I understand silent communication. Mo, what does it say? Is it actually saying something?
I have absolutely no idea. I got the idea of TV.
Right.
Yeah, I saw that as well.
Yeah,
right.
But that is not elbows you're seeing. That is not elbows.
What is it? Wrists, I suppose, or just you?
No, it's just where I've merged the 2 pictures together and rounded it off.
Yeah, it's quite. Yeah, it's quite spooky. I like the idea. If I knew about what's it called, English Sign Language, then perhaps I'd know what this word is. You just made this up, did you? Yeah. And hoped it would do the trick. And it does do the trick.
No, I copied the hand signals off TV. I don't know what it was saying.
Right. Okay.
It might say something rude.
Well, no.
Hopefully.
It doesn't. I'm sure it just says.
I was thinking it was 1, 2, 3, but that don't work either.
No.
That would have been a good idea.
You've got the 3 on the 1, and then you've got the 1 on the 1, and then you've got the 2 on the 3. So it's all a bit.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
It may say "Good Morning Britain" because that's where I first saw it.
Right. Good idea. Good composite. I like it a lot. You haven't put a stroke on it, but in a sense, it works without it because cutting off the limb on the right-hand side and the limb on the left-hand side, as it were, gives us a demarcation of where the edge of the image is, and it does without it. It doesn't actually need a stroke. And there's a black one in there against the black background. Can't see. Somebody's yawning. Sorry, is that you, Suzanne?
No, it was me.
All right. Brenda, are you still with us?
I can't hear.
Yawning is just a lack.
I think that's Brenda. She said she can't hear us, but your sound is very, very distorted, Brenda. And I'm sorry about that, but there we go. Max is peeking in from the corner, from the side. Hello again. And I've seen that Terry's tuned in. So good morning to you, Terry. I haven't spoken to you yet, but I hope all's well with you. So good idea. So silent communications. I'm just going to call that silence in my notes. So well done on that, Mo. Moving on then to Suzanne. And it's called this dump. Yeah, it's a good idea. And unfortunately, not only do you find lots of dump bottles, but are you noticing dump masks?
Oh,
yes.
All over the place. The people seem to pay for a mask and sling it away. It's disposable, and they think that the council's got a special service going around picking up masks.
Nobody's picking up masks, are they?
Well,
No.
no.
It's the last thing last thing you're going to pick up is a mask.
Yeah, it's dreadful, isn't it? It's dreadful that people are so untidy, filthy, filthy people. And it's not just, I don't know how it is where you people live, but I find when the dustman calls, there's a trail of rubbish up the road, parts of which then blow into my driveway, and I have to go off and clear up after the dustman. But yeah, good idea, Suzanne, and well thought of, dump. And it's topical, isn't it? In terms of plastic waste. So I like that. 3 of them fixes the subject.
I think Suzanne put them all there.
Oh well, I wouldn't like.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Well, they're also beautifully clean. And
Well, they're water bottles, aren't they? So Suzanne, is it free? Is it a free? Well, she's given us a little question there. That's good. Is it a free? What does it mean? Is that third card going to be a free? I don't know whether in card games that's an important score or 3 of a kind. I don't know. Is that good for a card game? I don't play cards, but there you are. Very well thought of, very well lit, and very well produced. So I like that a lot. And so for Suzanne, everyone can call that 3 cards.
Can I say, David, can I just say, when you're sending in your titles for these photos, the program will not accept question marks. You cannot put a mark as a file. So, I mean, this one really is asking a question, and it's asking for a question mark, but I couldn't include. So if you're sending in photos, just remember, I cannot put question marks in the title.
Right. Even if you copy and paste it.
No, I could do it in PowerPoint. When we were putting it into PowerPoint, I could do it in PowerPoint, but into this program that we're using for the Zooms, it will not accept any files with question mark.
And exclamation marks as well?
Exclamation mark seems to work, but I would try to avoid anything which is not just pure alpha numer.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you. Well done, Suzanne. Very well thought of. Is it going to be a free? Somebody that plays cards, tell me, please, is it important to have 3 of a kind like that? I don't know. Card players, tell me.
well, you can't get 3 of a kind. 3 threes. You can't get 3 of a kind if all the numbers are the same.
3 different suites.
You can get
suits. 3 different suits.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, I don't play cards. I don't know. So yeah, there we go. Okay. Well, we move on. Good picture. Praise the crowd, and so Suzanne has gone to I'm going to guess it's Priory Park Bandstand, which has moved from the cliffs in Southend, much to the dismay of when they were alive, my elderly parents, who loved to go to Southend, listen to the band playing on the cliffs there. The whole thing collapsed and the bandstand was rescued and put into Priory Park. Quite why, I don't know, because it's only going to be the locals that know it's there. And the day trippers wouldn't know where Priory Park is.
Well,
they're very, very
you know the cliff fell down, don't you?
Yeah, that's why they moved it.
Yeah.
But they have lots of concerts every Sunday lunchtimes, and I think Saturdays they have concerts at the bandstand. In fact, they're still doing it at the moment with the COVID.
Even in COVID times, are they really? I'm surprised.
Yeah,
right.
the whole programme.
So we've got 3 people in the bandstand there. I don't understand why you've chosen that as a title, Freeze the Crowd. It's as if one of them is unwelcome. But yeah, it's a record shot. The people themselves are, as I might put it, on the wrong side of the photo, and they are looking out of the photo. The only one looking at you is the man who's about to accost you for pointing your camera at him, as people do in England. Doesn't happen in Asia. They love having their photos taken, but in England, people seem to be a bit precious about it. I wonder whether cropping out most of the bandstand and just having that bottom corner there would be a whole lot better photo. And if I can just
I did try that actually, and when I looked, they were all, the little girl and the woman was on the phone, and I had thought of chopping it out and saying somebody like, please talk to me, because the bloke's sort of looking and the other two are looking at their phone. I had thought of doing that, but then in the end decided to leave it, because usually there's a big crowd round the bandstand. That's why freeze a crowd, you know.
That on the bottom right hand corner there would have been a better picture. Even though the fact is that she's, in a sense, she's on her phone, the little girl's playing on her telephone or game thing, and he doesn't look very communicative.
He's saying, what on earth are you taking a photo of us for? Who is this strange woman?
Yeah, and now, of course, I've put the attention, or my attention is on that man on the bench in the distance there. So if you were to crop it, and I would have done, because I really don't see what the bandstand's got to do with three. These are the three, but try on your software, and I don't know if you can do it, Suzanne, to get rid of the man there and just put some grass or extend the bench, get rid of his legs. I don't know what software you're using. What software are you using, Suzanne?
Usually PixArt or something.
Well, it's all right for free, cheapo, but you're advanced enough now to move on to some proper software, not this baby. And get really good at putting things in, taking things out. I will go down the list. They just ask you what software you're using, but I'm going to say I don't understand the title. Even if I remove the man on the bench in the distance and cut down the photo to just for three people, I still don't understand why you chose that for a title.
Well, because usually the bandstand's packed, and it's unusual to see just three people sitting by the band.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that one. So that's going back to the photo itself, and I'll move on from that to Terry. What she's given a very interesting title, the Italian Trio. So we've got I can't read the name on that card. It's no doubt Italian. It's got the Italian flag.
Trio. Italian Trio, it says.
No, not the title. No, the name on the back of the card.
Oh, sorry.
Is it Lamborghini?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then we've got now help me. This is a
Lambrettas.
It's a Lambretta, and this is I rather suspect this is a Mark 1 Lambretta and this is a Mark 2 Lambretta, but I don't know. It's a long time ago that I rode around on Lambrettas, many years ago. I was a lot slimmer and a lot better looking than I am now, but there you go. And
impossible, David, impossible.
Thank you. So, good title. Where did you find this then, Perry?
On a very wet day in Old Lee.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh. And somebody had the cheek to park a Lamborghini in Old Lee. My word, they've got too much money, haven't they? Yeah, okay. I like that.
Must be an old cockle merchant.
Yeah. Very much a record shot. I can't see that you've actually done anything to it to make it your own. But record shots are important and are worth taking. I don't want to knock record shots, because if you go back there today or tomorrow, you wouldn't be able to take that photo. So it becomes a piece of history. And it may be that you're just keeping that on your file to come back in 10 years and think, gosh, that was something. LX18, does that mean something? Is that 2018 number plate. I don't know, is that a personalised number plate? It's the same number.
No, it's just an ordinary number plate.
Ordinary, is it? Oh, right. Okay. Sometimes I see words in number plates and I chuckle to myself. Now, what you might have chosen to do, again, I'm going to come back and ask everyone what software they're using. What's distracting me is that sign, which probably says, don't park here, park it elsewhere. You're parking it round and it ought to be square. I'm sorry, that's wrong. But anyway, can you, on your software, could you have taken that distraction out?
I did attempt it, but it got messy. So,
Messy, yeah.
so I thought I better leave it in to give you something to criticise.
Okay. Now the other thing to ask, and I'll ask around the thread, where was this photo taken from? Right, Brian, where was this photo taken from? Can't hear you, you're muted. Push the space bar. Push the space bar. That's it, now we hear you. Right. Brian, can you hear me?
Yes.
So
you
where
can
was
see
this
that
photo?
it's looking through the railings there. You can see it's looking out to the river. So it must be somewhere along, well, there's a garage there.
Are you saying essentially the other side of the road?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Suzanne, where
Yeah,
was
it's also taken from low down, not standing. I think it's probably kneeling.
Ah, well, you think so, dear. We'll ask Harry in a minute. Suzanne, where do you think it's taken from?
I can't even see the.
What do you mean in Lee? I've no idea.
I mean, where was the camera?
Yeah, I was going to say from low down. Yeah, yeah.
Low down? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Mags, where do you think?
I would agree with low down as well.
Yeah.
Tell
me why.
I've still got a picture of the Lamborghini. I haven't even seen the picture yet.
Yeah, that's the same picture, Bill, that we are talking about that same picture. Yeah?
Well, yeah, are we?
Well, you'll notice that the wing, as it were, is pretty high in the frame. Terry has cropped off quite a lot to give us this letterbox orientation. And I wonder where he held the camera. Now, some of you have cottoned on to where I'm going with this. So come on in, Terry. Where did you take this from? By which I mean, where did you hold the camera?
I think I did two, one standing up and one wobbling, crouching down. And I think this is the wobbly, crouching down.
Yeah, good. Okay. Quite powerful to drop your camera down to waist level or even lower. Sit down on the curb, hold the camera down on the road, and actually take the picture from road level. It gives a whole different perspective to what you're taking, and that's a very valuable technique. In the days of twin lens reflexes, I don't need to remember what one of those is, but a Rolleiflex or a Yashica, you'd hang this camera around your neck and it would swing at waist level. You then look down into the viewfinder, as it were, and it would have two lenses, one is the viewfinder lens and one is the actual taking lens. And that would mean that you're taking pictures, in those days, pictures from waist level. Nowadays, we all too often hold the camera up to our eyes and take the picture at eye level. And you're losing so much opportunity in the photo of giving a different angle, a different perspective. So shooting low is very, very valuable. I do like that. And I'm going to come back to that in a minute. Right, so we move on.
Can you still buy angle finders for cameras?
Yes, you can. I've got, if you want it, I'll lend you one. It's in my cupboard behind me now.
Yeah. Well, I've got one, but it's for an Olympus camera. I don't think it will fit onto modern ones, but it might do.
So I've got a Canon one, you're on Canon, aren't you, Bill? So I'll lend you my one. You can try that. Right, just moving on then to Terry's, what he called it, mighty oak seeds. I'm just going to reduce the size of the image so we see the whole thing. So rather than call it 3 acorns, mighty oak seeds, quite poetic really. Terry was obviously in a poetic frame of mind at that time. And that's very good. Is that this season, Terry?
Sorry?
Is that this season?
About 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, so it is this season, yeah. So as an image that addresses the topic of tree, it certainly does it. And I like the colour palette. There's all these greens. Look at how many different greens there are there. Now, again, in software, it would be useful to go to your colour slider and reduce just to see what happens when you take the yellow out. I think you may have tried that in the past. If you haven't, do try it. Just take the yellow slider and whack it down to 0 and just see what happens to your image. And then whack it all the way up to full and see what that does. And you'll come to appreciate that this isn't just a bunch of greens. There's a lot of yellow in this photo, an awful lot. And as it is, I like the balance. I'm just saying that as a learning point, try reducing the yellow and see what it does to your image. I think you'll be surprised. Have you tried doing that previously?
I have, yeah. Yeah.
That's good then. Very thin mid-grey stroke. I like that a lot. As I've said, some people call it a key line. Adobe call it a stroke. Adobe Photoshop calls it stroke. Just right, just right. The only thing I would say is the composition is a little bit simple, and I would have cropped off. I would have cropped off. I would have cropped off some of the top and some of the right-hand side, just to give me a little bit more triangular composition. You know, I've come to mention triangular composition to you previously, but I like that, and I hope you took 35 more of other acorns. Did you take 35 more?
About 6 more.
Oh, 6 more. Why did I say 35?
Because there used to be 36 on a roller film.
You've heard this one before, Terry.
Many times.
Showing your age, Dave.
Pardon?
Showing your age.
Show my age.
You're showing your age.
Repeating old jokes. Yeah, okay, okay.
Exactly.
You've heard the one about the Englishman, the Scotsman, and the Irishman. I'll tell you later in class. Anyway, let's move on. Story number 3, the Tired Wall. I really like this one. I take it this is somewhere like Lee or Canby, or it could be Australia, I don't know, don't care. And compositionally, it works fine.
Hey.
Where is it?
Old Lee, I took the Italian trio.
Oh, right, good. Now, my concern about this, I like the format, which is the square format. I do like square format. I like the position, though I might have been tempted to flip it round the other way. My only concern is that these
what difference would it make?
These posts are not vertical, and I don't know if they're supposed to be vertical. These lines are not horizontal, and I don't know if they're meant to be horizontal, but maybe the whole of this wall is over at a jaunty angle, and it's giving us this sort of leaning back. So I think that's interesting. I might ask Terry, or will ask Terry whether he tried to straighten it and he didn't like it, so he left it at a jaunty angle. What did you do to it, Terry?
No, I left the angles because I took it. Well, when I say a fair distance, it was so wet and horrible. I must admit, it was a snapshot to get back home. I had zoomed in a bit and then cropped.
Right, okay, because it's lost a bit of the detail it's not up to your usual quality of fine detail. And I'm wondering whether you shot this at, it's F8 according to the exit, which is surprising. 40th of a second, yeah. Okay. In this, it's not giving us the ISO on the exit data, unless I can't see it. It would have been perhaps useful to have a higher shutter speed. It's worth considering whether you can, and whether all of us are able to hold a 40th of a second. I find that I need to shoot at 200 to be sure of holding the camera still, and increase the shutter speed to something faster and increase the ISO. You can pretty safely go up to a much higher ISO, and I suspect you shot this at something like 100 or 200 ISO ASA, and you could have gone up to 800 quite confidently. Indeed, on some cameras, if you said, and it is true, I've tried it and proved it, that I can shoot at 3,600, which is a hell of a fast ISO ASA. So I like it, but I think, Kerry, you're going to get homework. You know what the homework is, do you?
Huh? Whack up my ISO.
Well, go back and do it again.
Right.
Get it up. My feeling is, who's that judge for Candy Island? What's his name? What's the name's name?
Tom Thompson.
No. You've had him at Padley. Does nature, does the orangutans. I forgot the man's name, but he would have said, well, it's on the edge of sharpness. So that's a very polite way of saying it's not sharp. And
not Mike Fuller.
Mike Fuller. One of his phrases is on the edge of sharpness. And I think he's quite right. That really isn't sharp. So I'm making a note for tyres. Now, I don't know whether Brenda's still with us or she's given up.
Yes, I am with you.
You are there, jolly good. Well, this is rather lovely, these sunflowers. I don't know if you grew these, but you're welcome to some. I think you've seen my sunflowers in my garden, they're 9 feet tall. You're welcome to some seeds from those. They're in the greenhouse drying. So let me know if you want some sunflower seeds.
Oh, yes, please.
Grow your own. The stroke, Brenda has picked up something close to the colour of the petals of the sunflower, and she's given us 3 blossoms. Now, I don't know if she grew these or bought them from Morrison's. Doesn't really matter. What matters is that she's got 3 of them. They're beautifully photographed, if a little dull. They don't seem to be as bright and as vibrant and as shining as I'd like them to have been. Did you take them on a dull evening, or what's going on?
No, I didn't, but that's exact. I'm looking at them now, and that's the exact colour they are, actually.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'm used to seeing mine in the garden. Did you shoot these indoors or outdoors?
Pardon?
Did you photograph these outdoors?
No, I did them indoors.
Indoors, yeah. I wonder if that was the case. Because to me, they're a little bit dull, and maybe a faster ISO, going up from whatever you've got these at. I don't know if you've got the ISO on your exit data. No, you haven't. 200 for the second at F5, yeah. I would be inclined to put your ISO up, double it, and get them to look a lot brighter. Often the case is that hazy light is good for taking flowers, and bright sunlight isn't. And you remember some years ago I gave you a white Perspex sheet to obscure bright sunlight for flowers or portraits. But I like that. I like the composition, and I like the way you picked up a colour for the stroke. So it's a little thick, to my way of thinking, a little wide, but we'll forgive that. So very good sunflowers.
David, if you put up the ISO and you took the picture again, and assuming you were using auto exposure, which you don't ever seem to use, it should be exactly the same as it was before.
Yeah, well, you're committing two crimes there. Number one is using auto exposure. You should never use auto exposure, which is what you've done here. You can see it says here auto. Only use auto when you're using the light meter in your camera. Your camera's got a light meter. In the old days, we used to buy light meters, Western Master, for
Master. That's what auto exposure is. Surely it's
no.
Doesn't everybody use auto exposure? I'm sure
Absolutely
they do.
Not.
Yeah.
No member of this group uses auto exposure.
Rubbish.
Yeah, we do.
It is. It's terrible. It's a waste of the facilities on your camera. Do not use auto other than to get a light meter reading, and then change it according to your requirements.
Oh, there you go then.
The metering only occurs in the center of your frame. So
you don't use auto exposure at all?
Never,
on your camera?
Never, ever, ever.
I can't understand that.
Well,
I think you two are talking at cross purposes. I think David's talking about the auto button on the camera, and I think Bill's talking about something else.
Yeah, all cameras have auto exposure on them. I'm not talking about the auto P version and the quickie version, but all cameras measure the light and take the picture.
Yeah, that's what you have to disable. When I am elected to be Pura, I will disable every camera in the world from its auto setting. I will allow it to be used only as a light meter, and then you change it. So if you put it on auto and you face your camera at this thing,
if I put my camera,
let me finish.
I think
listen to this, Bill. When you push the shutter auto, and it will say a 200 a second at f5 at 100 ISO, and then you decide, no, I don't want to do that. I want shallower depth of field. So I'm going to override that by one stop. I'm going to go to an aperture of 2.5. Yeah. And therefore, I am going to get a shallower depth of field. But with a wider aperture, I'm going to get twice as much light in. So I would need to increase the shutter speed to a 400 for a second.
Well, what's the matter with the AV setting then?
Okay.
I'm not going into that. And all I'm saying is do not use auto. Nobody in this group should be using auto.
If I put my camera onto AV...
No, I'm not going to discuss that at this moment, Phil. All right, so moving on to that one, Brenda.
I believe it.
It's good, it's a little dull to me, and I'd like it a little bit brighter. But well done, good attempt. I like the sunflowers. Thank you very much. Moving on, teacher's delight. Oh yes, an apple for the teacher. Well done. I like that, and I particularly like the lighting here, which I take it is from a window. Is it, Brenda?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like the way that Brenda has chosen such an aperture. She's overridden the auto setting. Oh gosh, it says auto up there. And anyway, she's made it a wide open aperture. I don't know if you can get it any wider than that, but it's given us a good three-dimensionality of the apple, which is closest to us, being sharp, the next one being very soft, and the furthest one being really soft. So we've got good three-dimensionality. Now, once again, it seems to come in from the corner and be going up, but I would suggest to you that you might consider flipping the whole photo so it comes in from the left corner and goes up to the right, only because in the Western world we read from left to the right. so it would make it marginally stronger image. I like the stroke line, very, very thin, and I suspect it's a colour that Brenda's selected to be either from the apple or close to the colour of the apple, because that is just a hint of green coming through there. So that's a very well taken photo. But as such, it addresses the tree, and I like that very much indeed. But do try to get off of that dreadful auto that Phil was persuading us about.
I did it with aperture, and colours kept coming out so awful. I tried it on, so I took quite a lot, so I didn't know which one it was actually. I did a couple on auto and a couple with the aperture. That was the best one.
Best one. Well, that's a good way of doing it. Yeah, get one in the pot on auto, but use the auto as a light meter. That's all I'm saying about that. So that's Brenda's number 2. Is there a third one?
That's the last one.
That's the last one. Okay. So just going back to the home page, which is all of these that we've been through at great length. Brenda did. I think Brenda explained to me she had a problem with her computer and loading another image. Is that correct, Brenda?
Yes,
Yes.
that's correct, David.
The sound is very blurred, Brenda. I don't know if you can hear us clearly, but your sound is very blurred. Okay, can I just ask the question then, what people are using for software to process? Mo, what do you use? Mo?
Sorry, I use PhotoFox on the iPad.
PhotoFox on iPad.
PhotoFox, it's a subscription.
Ah, right, okay. Brenda, can you hear me? What software are you using?
Well, I've got Affinity, but I'm not too clever with that, so I keep trying all different things.
Right, okay, well that's a good position to be in. If you get good at Affinity, can you give me a lesson? Because I'm struggling with it myself, and I usually use Photoshop and Lightroom, but you're struggling, so I just write down various. There are, with regard to Affinity, there are tutorials on YouTube, which I don't know if you've tuned into, but it's worth having a look at those and see if they help you. Bill, what are you using for photo manipulation?
I use Photoshop mainly.
Photoshop, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
But I have got an old version of Picasso, which is also very useful.
They're very good, that Picasso. It's not on the menu any longer. You can't.
No, you can still get it.
Yeah, I've heard that you can, but it comes with a caveat.
I'm on it now, though.
Might give you viruses, but I don't know if that's true or not. Fred, what are you using? Fred?
Oh, sorry, I didn't catch it. I use Lightroom and Elements.
And Elements.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Diana?
A whole range of things. I download my photos from Windows 10, and there's an editing program on that, and then Photo Mix and Photo Fix and PixArt on the iPad.
Right. Okay. Okay. So I'll just say various in that case. Suzanne, what are you using?
Well, I use PixArt, and I have got the PhotoFox that Mo uses as well, and I've got one that I can't remember as well. So again, various ones.
Whichever one works, that's good. Yeah. Caroline, what are you using?
I use Paint Shop Pro on my PC.
Do you? Wow. Wow.
Oh, I used to have that. I used to like that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's an
I'm
old.
not sure it still exists. Can you still get it?
Sorry?
Yeah, I think.
Can you still get it? Paint Shop Pro?
Are you talking to me, David?
Yeah, Caroline. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got Paint Shop Pro on my PC. On my iPad, for just simple things like borders, I use PixArt on my iPad. But
Yeah.
for anything more serious, more complicated, I use PaintShop Pro on the
Yeah,
PC.
very good, very good. That's a good one. Max, what are you using?
I'm using PixArt, which I hate.
Yeah, I can't
It's
say
like
blame you. From what I've seen, it's very limited, and really, you're all so good now. You're able to move on to more advanced stuff. I don't know whether PaintShop Pro is still available. It used to be on a disc that you got on the magazine, but I don't know if you can still get it from.
You can still buy PaintShop Pro, but I've
Yeah.
read reviews, and the reviews are not as good as for the old one.
Yeah.
I've got the old one.
Yeah, the old one, if you can get it. Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't transfer it, can you? I've got it on a very laptop that's almost dead, and I tried to transfer it, and you couldn't transfer it over.
It seems irrational, doesn't it? Terry, what are you using? Terry, you still with us? Hello, Terry. Come in, Terry. No, seems to go. Can't hear you, Terry. I don't know if you can hear me, but there you go. Right, well, ladies and gentlemen, you've picked the winner. Bearing in mind the digressions that we've had, we've got Phil's rather intriguing 3 bits of wood. We've got Diana's reflections on the benches, the lovely stuffed things, and the 3 bottles. For Fred, we've got the dominoes, the silk flowers, and even Pinot, which is called Streetwise Photographers. Good idea. Caroline's a rather lovely aged picture there. The 3 books and the 3 medals. I think I particularly commend your attention, Caroline Dickens trio. Mags here with the 3 sisters, the 3-year-old, and the 3 silver swans with those lovely reflections. Mo's very strong triangular composition here, a composite, 3 swans, another composite, and the intriguing, I think that's the word I'm looking for, the intriguing sign language. Suzanne's dumped bottles, 3 cards, and 3 people asking for a crop. Terry's Italian trio, which I think we've all agreed is probably taken from a low point of view, and very, very, very good to do that. The Mighty Oaks, the Acorns, I like that a lot, and the Other Focus Trials, and Brenda's Sunflowers and Apples. And then I believe Brenda said she had problems getting a 3rd image up, so she's just got the 2, but nonetheless, they're 2 good images.
Hi.
Are you still with us, Brenda?
I am, yes.
Okay, we can hear you. Am I right? You had problems getting a 3rd image up?
Yes, because my computer's in the hospital and my photos are on there.
Ah, right. Okay. Okay. So thinking about that plot, then, ladies and gents, we just have to pick a winner. And if you're okay about it, the winning images will be transmitted to a lady called Margaret something, Margaret Flack is it, who's taken over the U3A, had the U3A newsletter, and provided she can get the images off of the computer, then they'll be released in the U3A newsletter, and you'll be famous. And what your votes are, for no other reason than that I would have written them in this order. Mo, would you give us a vote, please?
I couldn't decide between Diana's window dressing. I love Fred's arrangement. That is my kind of picture. And I also like Caroline's Dickens. So I'm tossing between those 3, and I'll go with Caroline.
Caroline. Okay, thank you. That's very good. Brenda, your vote, please.
Well, I'm the same as Mo, and I'm going to go with Diana.
We're going to go with Diana, all right? And Next on my list is Bill. Can you hear me, Bill?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm very undecided. I like most one picture, the most imaginative match picture.
Yeah.
But across all three, it's probably the dominoes, the flowers, and the sitting on the settee.
So
That was Fred, was
Fred.
it?
Yeah, that's Fred. Yeah, yeah. Well done. Thank you. So Fred, your vote?
Mo's.
Mo.
Really imaginative.
Yeah, yeah. He's very imaginative and he does well with his composites. So well done with that. And Diana, have I asked you yet? No, I haven't asked you yet. Diana?
I think Diana.
Diana?
Are you asking me,
Yeah.
David?
Yes, your vote, please.
I'm going with Caroline.
Caroline? Suzanne, your vote?
I'm in a quandary. I like Mo's matches and I like Caroline's Dickens, and it's very difficult, isn't it? And I like Fred's. It's really difficult. I think I'll go with Caroline.
Caroline, okay, thank you. Caroline, your vote?
I'll go with, I think Brenda. I like her apples.
You like Brenda's apples? Yeah.
Yes,
Good.
and the sunflowers.
And the sunflowers, yeah. Just like what I said about them, yeah. Mags?
I like Caroline's books, but I'm going to go for the three photographers.
That will be Fred. Yeah, okay. And Terry?
I don't think Terry's here.
Terry, you still with us?
His picture isn't.
No. Ryan?
First of all, I apologise for my detachment and hope to do better in future. But in terms of the images that we've seen here, there are some very interesting, very imaginative images. But I particularly like Mo's hand signals. I listened last night on Radio 3. I often listen to the essay, and it was postulated there that the human mind can only deal in 2 dimensions. And it mentioned as an example of using many dimensions of Escher, the artist. And I think that Mo's hand signals go somewhere towards that.
Right. Now, while we've got Brian in the frame, ladies and gentlemen, I think you will be happy to join me in congratulating Brian on reaching a significant birthday. So,
yes.
Happy birthday, Brian, from last week.
Yep. Happy birthday, Brian.
Happy birthday,
Brian.
I do appreciate that. I do like being associated with your group. And I just have to say that at the moment, the shock of getting it to 90 has led me very astray. So please forgive me.
I think that's pretty.
And Brian's got a phone call as well. So happy birthday to Brian. Okay, well, that leaves the winner of today's poll as...
Hold on. David, what is your decision? We'd like the decision of the expert.
Say again?
We would like the decision of the expert.
Oh, no, I don't vote. No, I don't vote. No, unless it's a split. What's it called?
Split decision.
Split decision. That's the phrase I'm grabbing for. I think it's clear. The vote is clear. The runaway winner. Although there are so many good photos on here. I mean, I love Phil's picture wood. I love the jeans with the things growing out of them. I very much like the 3 dominoes. The Dickens books from Caroline are superb. and with a little bit of treatment, Mag's landscape would be very good indeed. Mo's composites are intriguing, and I really like the hand signals, and I like the 3 cards from Suzanne, and I actually like, probably more than other people like, I like the oak acorns and the apples. So I'm really split between all of them.
It's a pie all round then, isn't it?
It's a pie all round. So I'm just wondering what I'm going to do in terms of sending up winning images to the magazine to Margaret Flack. But I'll
David, why, David, can I just interrupt? Why don't you pick, say, the 3 from 3 individuals that you actually, or that we maybe all liked, rather than 3? It's very hard to pick 3, where, say, for example, the matches, the Dickens, the trousers, you know, if we took sort of 1 from, say, 3 people or 4 people that were really good, rather than 3. Yeah,
I'm happy to do that if you're all in agreement with that. But nonetheless, the runaway winner in terms of the straightforward vote. And Mo, can we have the drum roll? Drum roll. That one. Well, it's not much of a drum roll. Come on. Anyway, the runaway winner is Caroline. Well done, Caroline.
Oh, well done.
Oh, thank you.
Well done, Caroline.
Thank you.
But I think I will take your suggestion, Suzanne, of taking from the whole suite. We've got so many good photos here.
there are some good ones.
The whole point is really to demonstrate how expert and how good you are. You know, despite Bill's dissent about the auto button, you know, I know that nobody in this group uses auto except Phil, and you need to overcome that. And as I say, when I'm elected,
I still think we're talking at cross purposes.
well, I'm pleased to hear that. That's okay. So anyway, congratulations to Caroline. Lovely to have seen everyone. And if you want some sunflower seeds, let me know. They're drying at present. They're not ready, but they do grow to 9 feet, literally 9 feet. Brenda will tell you if you've seen them. They're gawping over next door's fence and looking at what next door's having for their supper. They're at least 2 foot higher than my fence, and they are big. So if you want some seeds, I don't promise you that they'll come true. There we are. Some will, and some won't. So good morning to everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Sorry we've lost Terry. Don't know where Terry just cleared off to. Into that Lamborghini and
David.
On the A13. Yes,
David, can I ask you what the next?
Oh, good one.
Is?
Good one. Good one. Thank you. Yeah. Well, I think I'm going to take the clue. I mean, I was tempted, but we've done it before. I was tempted to go back to seasons, to look at the colours. But it's a bit old hat, really. You've all done it before, haven't we? You did it last year. You did it in a different form the year before. What we haven't done did strike me earlier in the season. What we haven't done is to do the tracks and LTs. You know, we used to do that in the summer break, and I know that Mo very much enjoyed looking into the music in the given LT and scratching his head and wondering what the devil I was talking about. But nonetheless, we haven't done that, so I don't intend to do it this time. But I might save that for another time. Our normal Fred, you haven't played this game with us before, have you? Or maybe you have, I can't remember. But normally in the summer break, we don't meet. A, because I go away, and B, because I want something that everyone can do at their own speed. I simply give you an LP, might be an Elvis LP, or it might be the Eagles or whatever. And it's up to the participants to find the titles, to listen to the music, and find photos that illustrate those tracks. But I'm not going to do that. But that's what we used to do in the summer break. We haven't had a summer break this year because of COVID and because of me not going away. Well, I've been away, but in between visits. I think I sent you all a picture today of 3 windsurfers. Did you see the picture of 3 windsurfers?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm gonna take another point and take a leaf out of Terry's suite of 3, and that is shoot low. Shoot low. Yeah. Shoot low. Now you can make whatever you like out of that. But I'm coming back to Terry's Lamborghini and what we've said about how that photo has been taken. Shoot low, shoot very low. Get down as low as you can. Put the camera on the ground.
Could we call it looking up?
You can call it what you like, but I'm going to call it shoot low.
All right.
So,
Well, that's what I no, I just... Oh.
It will give you a different angle on your photos. So I look forward to seeing everyone either in the flesh, if you happen to bump into each other in Safeway, if you can recognise me behind my mask. And I look forward to everyone submitting to our friend Mo. Mo, thank you very much for doing your element in this.
Well, yes.
Almost exactly.
It's been a bit painful.
It's painful. You're frozen, Mo. You froze. We didn't hear that. We'll say that again.
Things kept still going, even though I.
Yeah, the audio's dropping out, Mo. We're only hearing part of that. But anyway, please accept our thanks for your efforts. You've helped us greatly in doing this. And I'll take your suggestions, ladies and gentlemen, choosing editor's choice, I'm going to call it, editor's choice of photos to send off to the U3A newsletter. So, somebody saying?
What were you saying, Suzanne?
I was just saying, yes, a good idea.
Okay,
Yes.
thanks very much. All right, well, I'll love you and leave you. Thanks a lot, folks. See you at the same time, same place next month. All being well, and stay well, stay away from groups, and stay clear of the plague. And I hope everyone will be submitting another superb set of images to Mo. Thanks again to Mo, and happy birthday again to Brian.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
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 Bye-bye.